Did Keith Urban just drop a bombshell that could shatter the perfect Hollywood love story we all thought was real? For years, tabloids painted Keith and Nicole Kidman as the golden couple, flawless, faithful, untouchable. But what if that entire fairy tale was a perfectly polished illusion, hiding cracks deeper than anyone dared to see? Insiders are whispering, cameras are rolling, and Keith Urban has finally broken his silence. After years of staying quiet through rumors of jealousy, emotional distance, and secret separations, Keith's latest confession has everyone asking, was the Urban-Kidman romance ever real? Or was it just another scripted Hollywood act? For the cameras, from red carpet smiles to private plane arguments, shocking new details are emerging that could change everything we thought we knew about their so-called unbreakable bond. So, what really happened behind those closed doors? And why is Keith suddenly ready to talk now? Buckle up, because what you're about to hear might just destroy the illusion of Hollywood's most picture-perfect couple forever. For years, the world saw Keith Urban and Nicole Kidman as the ultimate example of love conquering fame. A Grammy-winning country star and an Oscar-winning actress, the power couple who made us believe in forever. But behind the red carpets and romantic Instagram posts, insiders claim the story was never that simple. Sources close to the couple describe their relationship as a high-stakes balancing act, filled with emotional turbulence, quiet resentment, and a desperate struggle to maintain a spotless public image. Keith's silence all these years wasn't just about privacy, it was about control. 'Cause when you're part of Hollywood's most marketable marriage, even heartbreak becomes a brand. It all started, reportedly, during the peak of Nicole's career resurgence. While she was winning awards and landing major roles, Keith was quietly battling his own insecurities. Whispers began about creative jealousy, late-night arguments, and long periods of separation under the same roof. One source, who allegedly worked with Keith's inner circle, claims he often felt like a supporting act in his own marriage. Keith adored Nicole, but he hated living in her shadow, the insider said. He'd joke about it in interviews, but privately, it stung. Then came the rumors, not of cheating, but of disconnection. Fans noticed fewer public appearances, awkward interviews, and that now famous red carpet clip where Keith's smile didn't quite reach his eyes. Nicole's calm, controlled demeanor only fueled the speculation that something wasn't right. But instead of confronting it, they doubled down on their image. Carefully staged photos, sugary interviews, and public declarations of love became their defense mechanism, a Hollywood tactic to mask the cracks with glitter. And yet, Keith's recent confession, hinted through a close friend, suggests that the illusion was becoming impossible to maintain. He was tired of pretending, the friend allegedly said. They were living two different lives, one for the cameras and one behind closed doors. What caused this emotional fracture? Some point to Nicole's obsession with perfection, others to Keith's struggle with pressure and old habits. Whatever it was, Keith's silence for over a decade wasn't about loyalty. It was about fear. Fear of losing everything he'd built, his career, his family, and the image of being the good guy in a story that might not have been so good after all. And just when the media thought the storm had passed, new whispers began circulating. Whispers that would soon turn into full-blown headlines. Dragging Hollywood's favorite couple back under the harsh spotlight, those whispers quickly became a wildfire. What began as vague trouble in paradise, gossip suddenly turned into a full-blown media storm when an anonymous insider leaked what they called emotional correspondence, alleged text exchanges that hinted at years of quiet resentment between Keith and Nicole. According to the leak, Keith reportedly felt emotionally manipulated and professionally sidelined. Whether the texts were real or not didn't matter, the damage was done. The public started questioning if their love story was just a performance crafted by PR teams and perfected for magazine covers. And then came the so-called leaked diary, a handwritten journal supposedly belonging to someone close to Nicole, which painted an even darker picture. It described late-night arguments, Keith's jealousy over Nicole's success, and moments where she allegedly considered walking away. Nicole loved him deeply, one imaginary insider claimed, but she couldn't carry both his ego and his career. The leak was instantly dismissed by their representatives, but the public wasn't convinced. Hashtags like Urban Truth and Kidman cover-up started trending, and online forums exploded with conspiracy theories. Meanwhile, fake investigative reports began surfacing on gossip blogs, claiming that Keith's management team had paid off a journalist to bury stories about his alleged breakdowns during tours. One report even suggested that Keith's infamous rehab visit wasn't just about addiction, it was about avoiding a media meltdown tied to his marriage. Whether these reports had any truth or not, they painted Keith as a man trapped between love, fame, and facade. Public reactions were brutal. Fans who once idolized the couple began picking sides. Some accused Nicole of being cold and controlling, while others labeled Keith as emotionally weak. Talk shows and podcasts ran with every rumor, analyzing body language from old interviews like they were crime scene footage. Look at the way she turns away, one viral clip declared, as millions of viewers dissected a 6-second moment from a decade ago. The internet became a courtroom, and Keith and Nicole's love story was now the trial of the century. Through it all, both stars stayed silent, or so it seemed. But those close to Keith claim he was quietly documenting everything, waiting for the right time to speak. Keith doesn't explode, he strategizes, said another alleged source. He knew that once he spoke, the whole narrative would shift, and apparently, that moment is now. According to insiders, Keith is ready to release a truth bomb that could expose not just his own marriage, but the darker reality of how Hollywood manufactures love, sells it to fans, and then buries the truth when the cameras stop rolling. Because this isn't just about one couple's marriage, it's about the billion-dollar machine that profits off their smiles. And when Keith finally opened his mouth, even his most loyal fans weren't ready for what came next. When Keith Urban finally decided to speak, it wasn't through a press conference, not even a talk show. It was through a quiet, carefully worded interview that quickly spiraled into chaos. In that now viral segment, he didn't name names, but his words were sharp enough to slice through the glossy image that had protected his marriage for nearly 2 decades. Sometimes, Keith said, you can love someone deeply and still lose yourself in the process. That single sentence set off an explosion of speculation. Was he talking about Nicole? Was this his subtle revenge? Within hours, entertainment outlets across the world were dissecting every syllable, turning Keith's emotional confession into headline gold. Behind the scenes, the fallout was immediate. Hollywood PR experts called it career suicide, while fans hailed it as a moment of truth. Some insiders claim Nicole's camp went into full crisis mode, scrubbing upcoming interviews and issuing no comments faster than tabloids could refresh their feeds. Others suggested she was furious, not because of what Keith said, but because of how he said it. Vague, poetic, but undeniably aimed at her. A few even claimed that Nicole's lawyers quietly reached out to Keith's team, warning him to tread carefully or face legal consequences for defamation. The scandal didn't stop there. Rumors emerged that multiple studios were reconsidering Nicole's contracts, fearing the negative press could spill onto her upcoming projects. Meanwhile, Keith's album streams skyrocketed overnight as fans searched his lyrics for hidden clues. Every word sounds different now, one fan tweeted. Like he's been telling us the truth through his music all along. Social media turned his heartbreak into a movement. #StandWithKeith trended worldwide, while others mocked the situation, calling it Hollywood's most beautifully staged breakup. But perhaps the most shocking part of all this isn't what was said, but what it exposed. A deep, unspoken truth about celebrity relationships, that behind every smile lies a contract. Behind every kiss lies a camera, and behind every promise lies a price. Keith's silence all these years wasn't cowardice. It was self-preservation. And now that he's spoken, the illusion has shattered, not just for him and Nicole, but for everyone who believed in the myth of perfect love in Hollywood. And as the dust settles, one thing is certain: the urban Kidman fairy tale will never look the same again. Was it ever real love, or just a performance rehearsed to perfection? Was Keith's confession a cry for freedom, or a final act in a long, tragic showbiz play? Whatever the truth may be, one man's silence has now become the loudest sound echoing through the halls of Hollywood. So what do you think? Was Keith Urban brave for finally speaking his truth? Or did he just ignite Hollywood's biggest scandal yet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this story is far from over. And if you want more shocking revelations like this, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next bombshell might drop any second.